dear respected football fans, KlarseSport Podcast Q A, questions and answers. And the question put forward to me was, who do I think's better out of Pep and Mourinho, and the reasons why? Okay, so first off, I'm going to start by saying Pep's better than Mourinho. Let's just cut to the chase. And the reason being is, we'll start off with developing players from scratch. The only player Mourinho's developed from scratch is John Terry, which is a great player to have on your list. However, just having one doesn't really hold any weight. When you talk about managers that are great at developing players from scratch, I think about Arsene Wenger, Alex Ferguson, Pep Guardiola. So going back to what we was talking about, Pep Guardiola is better than him at that. We all know that. It's facts, it's not my opinion. Let's take emotions out of it, because a lot of people like to bring emotions into things too much. Pep's better, and it's a fact. He developed Busquets from scratch. He developed Pedro from scratch. That's 2-1. Do the maths on that. 2-1. That means you've lost, mate. Pep's won that argument easily. Look what Busquets and Pedro have gone on to achieve versus what John Terry's gone on to achieve. Do you understand what I mean? Like, that's it. Game over. Getting players that are already good and making them better, they're both good at that. They're definitely both good at that. But I would say Pep does it more, so he wins that argument as well. For instance, De Bruyne, he's brought the best out of De Bruyne. I'm not saying De Bruyne was awful, he was a good player, but he's made him a top player. Hence the reason why some people are delusional enough to think that De Bruyne is better than Gerrard and Scholes. There you go. That says it all. This is Pep's doing. Sterling, good player at Liverpool, not a top player. And now Pep's made him a top player. When he was at Bayern, Alaba was at his best when Pep was there. Kimmich was at his best when Pep was there. Messi, as we know, was a good player, but Pep made Messi an absolute world beater. Hence the reason why some people say he's the GOAT and he's the greatest player of all time. I'm not saying that. Let's just get that out there. But this is what a majority of people say. So Pep wins that argument. So that's 2 down to Mourinho and 2 up for Pep. World domination. Well, Pep can win back-to-back leagues. Mourinho, as we saw in his previous years at Chelsea, he won back-to-back titles. Dominance, I'd give it to Pep as well, because the football he plays is more dominant. He can get more results than Mourinho can get. He can also win titles in record timing. I don't think Mourinho's ever done these sort of things. He can consistently get further in the Champions League than Mourinho does, and he can consistently keep winning trophies, and a variety of trophies, more than what Mourinho can do. So I think the dominance, Pep wins that. The things Mourinho wins over Pep is, I'd say, courage. For example, Pep would never go to Tottenham Hotspur, but Mourinho would. But there's a catch-22 to that. Pep doesn't need to go to Tottenham, whereas Mourinho sort of needed to go to Tottenham. He's sort of like on his last legs. He can't really go anywhere. So that is a 50-50 one. But for the simple fact Mourinho would take the job and Pep wouldn't take the job, I don't see if that's anything worth ranting and raving about. But yeah, okay. Another thing Mourinho has on Pep is he knows how to win ugly. Pep can only win pretty, as we know. This isn't my opinion, it's a fact. I like Pep Guardiola, I like Mourinho, but the fact is Mourinho can win ugly. Yes, his football's very boring at times, but he can still win ugly. If it's not pretty, Pep doesn't have a plan B, and that's something that has worked against him. However, I would say Pep needs to work on that side of his game. If he can work on that side of his game, then he can go all the way to the top and rival Alex Ferguson for that crown. But he needs to work on that. as it stands. So Mourinho definitely wins that. So overall, for me personally, I'd say Pep's better. He's also won more trophies than Mourinho in shorter time, if that helps. When they were both in the Liga, Pep was better. Do you know what I mean? We've seen Mourinho's team lose 4-5-0 to Barcelona. We've seen this. I'm not making this stuff up. You can watch it on YouTube, Google it, whatever. I think that's pretty much it. There's nothing more to say. Pep's better, and those are the facts. I would go on to say Mourinho's greatest achievements are the teams he's won the Champions League with, because Inter were not the greatest team. And obviously we know Porto was nowhere near the greatest team. They were a good team, but nowhere near the greatest team. They never had outstandingly great players. So these are great milestones to achieve. I don't believe Pep could do that. I don't believe he could win a Champions League with Inter, with the players they had. And I don't believe he could win I know he couldn't win a Champions League with Porto. So these are the milestones that Mourinho has that Pep will never have. But then, as I said previously, there's things that Pep has that Mourinho will never have. And I think the things that Pep has that Mourinho doesn't have are more powerful than the things Mourinho has that Pep doesn't have. Hence the reason why Pep's been in the game for a shorter time and achieved more than him. And I believe he'll go on to eclipse him, where he'll have not just 2 more trophies than him, it will be 10 more trophies than him. And a better legacy in football, I believe, when they both end, if they were both to end their managerial careers at 75 years old or 70 years old, I believe Pep's will be more legendary and there'll be a bigger legacy, because people always remember, oh, that's the man that managed Messi and got the best out of Messi. These things hold a lot of weight. You know, that's the guy that plays the best football we've ever seen in our life. These sort of things hold a lot of weight. So for me, Pep's better. However, I like Mourinho better than Pep. But like I said, take emotions out of it. It's all about just being an honest football fan at times. I like Mourinho better. But if you're asking me the question that was put forward to me, who do I think's better? Pep's better. And he wins. And I believe Pep wins this easily. I don't even think it's debatable, to be honest. Like, Mourinho's very good and I rate him, and he is one of the greatest managers of all time, but I do believe Pep's ahead of him. Also, a big dent in both of their careers, I'd say, was not winning the Champions League, with Bayern for Pep and Real Madrid for Mourinho. I think that was a big dent. They should have both at least lifted the Champions League. There was no excuse. Bayern are the best team in Germany, and they destabilise every other team in Germany. There's no competition. And Real Madrid can get any player they want. As soon as Real Madrid come in for a player, even if the player supposedly is devoted to their boyhood club, they'll always leave for Real Madrid. So with that being said, they both failed hugely there, but I guess they can make up for it in years to come. Like, if Mourinho was to win a Premier League title with Tottenham, as awful as Tottenham are, that would really take him up there. I can't see it happening, but that would really take him up there. And if Pep was to win a Champions League with Man City, I can't see that happening at all. But if he was to do that, that would be a milestone and take him right up there. But let's see. Let's see what happens. You never know what the future holds. So let's see. You know, in 2 years, I could be saying something completely different. But as it stands now, just to end this podcast, Pep Guardiola is better than Jose Mourinho.